police work. We had some video that we used, and we got lucky, and we made an arrest, and it was a good ending to the case, but not a good ending that someone else was shot and killed. So those are the things we want to prevent and try and stop. So again, my point is, plenty of people were around. Not one of them picked up the phone and called us, sent us a text. You can text to 411 an anonymous tip. Nobody did that. It's just disappointing when that happens. Residential video. We talk about video solving some of these cases. There are some things that are available to you as citizens on your homes and HOAs that you can get. Ring video. Those Ring doorbells invaluable to us for the information that they can provide to us during a crime. Video camera registration program. If you have a video surveillance camera in your home, you can register that with us online. Information for that is on our website. And they help to solve crimes, and we use them with our facial recognition program if we need to help us get people in custody. And there's a flock LPR system, license plate readers LPR. And what that is it's a camera that's $2,000 to $2,500 cost a year. We push this out to HOAs if they want to buy them. We've got 2 in the city. We're getting a 3rd, and they record data. And so they read license plates. If a stolen car goes by, it will read it and it will send a message to our dispatch, send a message to our officers, their cell phones that they have in their cars, and it helps them maybe catch someone real quick if they're close to an area where that car went by. The good thing is it's recording it. If something happens in a neighborhood, we've got these cameras to go back and look at some historical data and maybe get some information on the vehicle and track somebody down that way. So it's just another tool and things that we can use that maybe our HOAs and our community can go out and get the information to us.
Chief,
yes.
Before you move from that slide, can you reiterate about the video camera registration program, letting them know we don't have access to the cameras, it simply puts them in the database, lets us know where the cameras are, because some people have confusion about it.
So that registration program is just a registration program. And what we need it for is that if we go out into a neighborhood and there's a crime that's been committed, our officers are looking at houses and they're looking to see if there are any surveillance cameras. If we go into that database, which we do, and we'll put in that street, now we can see who has cameras on the street, and we can go quicker to knock on doors and say, you have video cameras that are recording? If it is, can we get some of that video? We cannot tap into the cameras. We can't get that video unless you give it to us, either on a thumb drive or you send out a link to it, however you want to do it. But yeah, we don't have any access to your cameras. It's just a registration program. That's all that it is. Gives us the availability to be quicker at getting some video that you may have, or at least look at it and discount what you have that there's nothing of any value there. So just a registration program, that's all it is.
And the same applies to the flock.
The flock camera is the same thing. If an HOA puts up a flock camera, they can let us have access to that, or they don't have to. So if we want to have access, we have to go to whoever the administrator is, and we have to talk to them and find out if they'll give us access to that so that we can get that video from that camera and maybe get a license plate and maybe track something down that way.
Thank you, Chief.
Very good. And now I'd like to introduce Randolph Shaheed. He has an interesting story, an interesting past, but he and I have been working together for the last couple of years. He has a passion for the community. He's a DeSoto resident, very concerned about what's happening. He came to me after some of this gun violence and said, what can I do? And I said, well, you can come out with me at a town hall. We can get together. We can talk to the people. I can talk forever, but I can't convince people to come out and give us information. Maybe someone from the community who knows about the laws, who knows about crimes, can talk to you and maybe get people to understand that we need to work together. And that's what we've been doing. And so, without further ado, Randolph, come on up.
Appreciate that. The mayor, Proctor, and to the citizenry, to the honorable members of the city council, My name is Randolph Shaheed, and my interest in being here is to help the community, really. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm an ex-offender. I'm an ex-gang leader. I'm an ex-everything. And being that, once you get incarcerated and once you experience what it feels like to sit on death row, then you want to make amends and you want to look inside yourself and ask yourself, what is it that you did to get you where you are? And being incarcerated for almost 17 years, I've been out of prison now for 40 years. And in the 40 years that I've been out of prison, I made up my mind that being a gangster, that's not what I want to be. I'm a gangster, true enough. But I'm a gangster for God, if you understand what I'm saying. I back down on nothing, anything, or anybody when it comes to the Word of God. And if I can give my life to God in prison and be around other offenders in prison and holding conversations about what are we going to do when we get out of prison, 99% of the conversation, the feedback is, oh, I want to get out there so I can show these young gangbangers another way. But something very strange occurred in my investigations. Every time one would get out of prison, I didn't see any real changes trying to occur that would deter these young so-called gangsters to finding a right road in which to travel. And I said to myself, I can't go down that same road, because I know when I was in prison, that's all I talked about was what I was going to do when I got out. And when I got out and saw what I saw, and saw the crime in the communities, I said, well, I can't do what everybody else is doing. So in Fort Worth, there were killings every single day. I was program coordinator for the Coming Up program, a gang intervention program. And I was honored to be able to, be put in that position to help these young people. And parents would come crying about their children being murdered, getting killed, getting incarcerated, being involved in all the gang activities. I'm not trying to be nobody's hero. I just knew that I had an obligation to the community in which I'm a part of. And that meant somebody has to get out here and really try to help the community. So I did that. And in doing that, I brought down organizations. I had hits put out on me. So for the men in these communities out here, we can't depend on the chief and the police department. We men must depend on us as being men out here and not males out here. It's a difference between a man and a male. And even though see this violence. We see the deaths out here. I'm looking for where the men, where the fathers, where are they? Where is the leadership really? When leadership has left the building, with Elvis, leadership is null and void. Where is leadership? You're gonna get a jacket, leadership. People that put a jacket on me, talking about I'm a snitch. They don't even know what a snitch is. I hadn't committed no crime just because I've gotten busted and I want to roll over. I don't want to roll over on nothing except crime. In my community, I'm not putting up with that foolishness. I'm looking at these babies. These are babies out here with weapons. I know what it's like to shoot and kill. I know what it's like. And usually when you see these children with these weapons and they shooting and people are dying, them babies not trying to kill nobody. They just making noise because they know that's what guns do. And when them guns make noise, people look. They're trying to get attention. They're trying to be seen. They're trying to be heard because nobody is hearing the cries of these babies. These are our babies. We sit around here in these church houses talking about what we're doing when you're not doing anything except behind the wall. I'm not out here throwing no rocks at nobody. Who am I to throw rocks at anybody? I live in a glass house. I'm not trying to throw no rocks. I'm just telling the truth about what is not happening out here in these communities. And it's a shame. Where is leadership really? Where is that leadership where these youngsters can look at that leadership and really admire leadership because the people are out here truly leading? There's no leadership out here. I'm saying that point blank. Anybody wish to challenge me can do so. At any time, at any point. I'm just telling the truth. I know what leadership is. I've seen leadership. I met with this man right here to my left. He didn't know why I was really meeting him. I wanted to see his heart because you can't fake me out of position, not me. I'm looking at his heart. I'm holding a conversation with him. Like men are supposed to do. Hold a conversation with another man to see if he's faking or not, to see if his heart is pure. We went down that road of conversation. It made me cry because you don't get many men in this position that's talking about real stuff that's happening. He's not trying to get no accolades thrown his way. He wants to solve a problem. I want to solve a problem. What man in here doesn't want to solve the problem of saving the lives of their children? What mother don't want to see their children saved? I've never been invited to speak anywhere. I've been out of prison 40 calendar years. How did I do that? How am I doing that? I don't believe in God today. You know why? Because I know Him today. It's a big difference between believing and knowing God. Giving your life to God. We must be able to be that type of man, have that type of character to go where our children are, not confronting those associates where our children are, but knowing them. How y'all doing? How y'all really doing? I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to really think about it in your inner part of your mind. If you go to a spot where your child is, and by show of hands, come on, let's get involved in this thing. I want to see your hands. Who would say that you you would go where your child is, and the gang members where you go will take out their pistol and shoot you because you're here. And there their son is right there. You mean to tell me that son is going to sit there and watch you get killed by one of his gang members? Do you actually honestly believe that those children will shoot and kill you just because you're there concerning your child? Let me tell you what I know. Not one bullet would be fired. Because no child wants his parent dead. But you won't do what you have to do at a time in which sacrifice has to be made. You got to get out of that vein of cowardness and get into the vein of love. You got to show love. Them youngsters are not going to kill you because you love your child. And you can't sit back there and just blame the children. You can't blame him for doing what you're not doing as men. Having the mothers cry every night about their child. Where's the daddy at? Can't no daddy get mad at me because you're not doing what you're supposed to do for your children. You can't get mad at me. You got to stand up. You got to know that these lives that are being lost out here is because of these husbands, these fathers, these mothers. You've gotten out of line. You've taken yourself out of position. My God. If we want to save our community, God Almighty. Oh, glory, hallelujah. If you want to save your community, when are you going to show the power that God has and not the mouth that you got? And you're not even using your mouth properly. You're not being driven by that passion that wants you to truly save your community. I don't care about somebody calling me a snitch. You think I care about somebody calling me a snitch because I'm trying to save lives? The hell with that. We men, we have children, we have obligations. It's not being spoken about in the church houses like it should be. We have to partner with these ex-gangsters out here. Those that are really truly trying to save the community, but everybody's turning their backs on them because of where they've been and not for where they are. You got to stop looking at where they've been. You got to look at where they are and what they're out here to do. They want to make a difference out here, but y'all turning your backs on these men that's coming out that really have that heart to really help the community. And most of them, those kids don't belong to them. I don't have no children out here, but I'll sacrifice my life for them because that's what I've been doing. I ain't out here toting no protest, flag, or nothing. I protest every single day of my life by not going back to prison. That's how I protest. I turn that lie back to where it came, straight from Satan. What are we going to do, community? We're doing too much talking out here. That's what we're doing. Just talking. Trying to sound like you got all the answers. Well, if you got all the answers, show it to the people. Then if you got the answers, then that means that we're going to see results from the answers that you got. But don't nobody want to really be instructed by God. And they sure don't want to be instructed by an ex-offender. It's time for us to change. Stop talking about what you doing, because you ain't doing nothing. Tell the truth to yourself. Shame the devil by just telling the truth yourself, to yourself. Ask yourself, what is it that you're doing out here? Look at this room in here. All these empty chairs in here. And we talking about saving the lives of children. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, DeSoto. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be down here supporting what's being done. What's trying to be done. At least you're trying to get led in the right direction. You're here. You ain't here trying to showboat. Jaw jacking, gum bumping, jaw rattling, just to be seen and heard. There has to be an answer. For every problem, there is an answer. I promise you. So if for every problem there is an answer, where is the answer? Who's got the answer? I follow you. It ain't got to be you following me. I don't need you to follow me. Follow God. Follow that truth that you know God put in you. Be a man. Be a woman of God. Stop accepting foolishness that's bringing generations down. We got a program. I just want to help. I want to help somebody. Help our children so that we can leave a legacy. We ought to stop the talking and be quiet. Come together, and I want you to visualize this, and I'm going to sit down. What do you think would happen if in a community, a certain portion of that community where it's been ravaged with violence, what do you think would happen if the DeSoto community know where that community is, that particular demographic area, without saying anything, grab a hand, circle that community, grabbing a hand. Don't say nothing to nobody. News cameras, newspapers, don't say nothing. Just grab a hand. Circle that community. Don't say nothing. God say if you humble yourself, heal the land. What land? The land that's got all this blood running down it. If we just band together, hand in hand, in the name of God, circle a block. Don't say nothing. The people inside that community, those gangbangers, them gangsters, them young G's, they're not gonna hear nothing. Ain't nobody gonna put you down. This is a God thing. We're gonna let God communicate what we haven't been communicating. Because if you keep your mouth shut and let God communicate, then God will heal the land. God bless you, each and every one. Out of mind. Let's just be what we're supposed to be.
Powerful words, challenges to the community. Let's work together a little bit more. The crime in our city is not bad, as you can see. Can it be better? Absolutely. Talking with someone in our crowd today, we can't be compliant. We can't rest on what our laurels are. We had 0 murders a few years ago. We didn't sit on that and say, okay, we had 0, that's it. We're always fighting to do better at what we do. We can control some of those things as a community, but that's a passionate God, and that's when we we get together and start talking, he wants to help, he wants to do something. So we want to continue this conversation on it. In February 17th, is going to be our next meeting at the police department, in our community room, right inside the front door of the police department. Anybody interested can come out. I hope it's full. Let's talk about what are the solutions to the problem. I'm here to help. I'm here to do that as your police chief. Your police department's willing to help, but we need to have some help from the community. And let's bring crime down, and let's stop some of this foolishness that's out there in the street, and let's take our own responsibility for what's happening within our own area of responsibility, and let's move on from there. I appreciate it. Thank you, Randolph.
I appreciate y'all allowing me.
And that's what it's all about, is working together. No matter what the past is. I didn't put ex-offender on there. I just put he's a concerned citizen. And let him tell his story about what it is. And Randolph will be there February 17th.
You got that right.
Okay.
I'll be 72.
Be 72 the day before.
My birthday is right. The 16th is my birthday.
The day before is his birthday, 72. And look a day over 40. After all he's been through. But, you know, we got to work together. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your walk of life is. We want to be better in the community. And this is how we do it. So, February 17th, that's what we're going to do. A couple other slides and then we'll be done here.